What is good, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Today we are going to be doing an album review, guys. But if you guys want to know who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. I'm Trevor Crash Knight, and you are watching the Crash Course Metal Show, where we like to bring all the forgotten and unknown bands and albums out into the forefront here on the channel and give them the due credit that they deserve. Because we all get tired of hearing all the same mainstream stuff, right? We all get tired of hearing the same three bands. But today we're going to be doing an album review here, and that is going to be 1990s World War III self-titled.
Hey, this is Michael Kelly Smith from Brittany Fox. You're watching the Crash Course Metal Show. Rock on.
Now, this is a very interesting one here because now I was aware of this band back in high school, back in I guess roughly around 2008 to 2010, because obviously, if you guys know my story, like after school from high school, would get home, I would get on Sleaze Rocks, I would get on YouTube, like just looking for like these hair metal bands or just metal bands in general. Didn't have to be just hair metal, just like thrash, power, like any heavy metal stuff. But like when I was on Sleaze Rocks, they used to have, or they still might have it, like a band discography or like discography of bands of from the 80s. And I remember coming across World War III, and I'm like, oh shit, that sounds really cool. So I clicked on them, and only this album came up, obviously, because they are pretty much a one and done here. And I was looking for it even back then
I've been looking for this for 3 years.
on eBay, and it was going for a decent price, and it was just not very common to find it even on eBay back then, even when this stuff was kind of not that popular, before the whole uh renaissance and just like the prices of these like out of print CDs and vinyl just shot up out of the roof. So like the stuff was still so much cheap, but even this was still going for a little bit of money. As coming from a teenage kid that didn't work, so like $20+ was kind of like out of my range, or I had to save up at least a couple weeks to get that CD. So, but yeah, World War III, I did not find this. I'd never seen a physical copy anywhere of my just collecting the past 20 years now. So definitely. Now, when we did a live stream the other weekend and Justin Sane came on and he reminded me of this band, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to look at eBay again here because it's been a while since I looked up World War III and see if there was any decent priced album out there for it. And lo and behold, within like a couple days, I found this on eBay for like $10. And I'm like, I didn't even think twice. I bought it right as soon as I seen it.
Hell yes.
So super happy. So dreams do come true, guys. Okay, let don't never give up. Find it, and that's just awesome as being a collector too. Like you're looking for something for 20+ years, and it just hits you out of nowhere. You find it, and for a decent price yet too. So that's really cool. So what this band kind of this is kind of a weird. This to me kind of feels like a side project of what Dio of a Dio band, because after this album in 1990, because after this project here, you had Tracy G go to Dio on Strange Highways, and you also had Vinny Appice from the brother Carmine Appice on drums on this album. You had Mandy Lyon on lead vocals, which super overlooked and unknown as far as a singer. Now he did do a guest appearance on a couple songs on George Lynch's 1993 album here, Sacred Groove, but no one really knows about him. But he has like his own feel. No one really sounds like him. So that's the best way I can, and no one really looks like him either at the time, I would say, especially in like the hair metal, because like I wouldn't necessarily like put this in the hair metal group, this album or this band. They're a little heavier, like even Sleaze. Like if I want to put them in a category, it would be Sleaze slash more of a traditional metal feel, but a little bit more upbeat lyric, not so much party lyrics, because the lyrics in this album are very primal, like sexual orientation, shit like that. So, but it's not child, it's not childlike writing either. It's very kind of sinister type feel. It's very it's weird. Like this is a one of a kind album in my opinion. Because like I said, with Mandy as the lead singer, as Justin explained in our video, he he kind of looks like the Undertaker, which he does, and I will show a video here of the band or a picture of the band, and he has that feel, and he's very, as Justin said, it Justin met him, Mandy, and back in the day, and he has this. It feels like this very monotone type voice and such like that. So like he is a character in and of himself. So like that is just adds to the aura of this band. So it's kind of like a little bit of a project. I'll say, like because like I said, a couple of these guys did go on to do Strange Highways and do a couple albums with Dio then. So, because like even on YouTube classifies this band as a thrash band, which they are not. I'm not putting them in the thrash category. I don't know why it came up in like the thrash mix. Like I said, it's just more of a traditional slash sleaze feel to this band. The guitar work is just absolutely amazing on this album. Tracy G is, and that's weird too, because like Tracy G kind of like goes off, and I mean, like I said, he did do Strange Highways, and he might have done another album with Dio. I'm not 100% sure on that. Because after Strange Highways, I don't really have too much of Dio, or at least haven't listened to too much of that. So I don't know how much he was there, but he kind of fell off the face of the earth from what I hear from other people. And that's another thing too, because like some people get confused when I say World War III. People are kind of think about the Philly band here, the Dizzy Dean and Johnny D World War III from 1985 in Tippa as well, the vocalist there. And some people were getting confused. Like I know Michael Kelly got confused, and one of the uh, record stores around here when I said about World War III. They're like, "Oh yeah, the Philly band stuff," or like with Tippa and stuff. And I was like, "I'm not 100. I don't know if that's who that is," because like there's not a whole bunch of information on either World War III, either band, honestly. So it's definitely you got to scratch to find some stuff here. So nonetheless, let us get into some of these tracks because now, I will say the first two tracks are the heaviest probably on the album, Time for Terror and Love You to Death, which ironically, those two are the two video singles. They do have music videos for these two songs. And I would say Love You to Death is probably the one I would prefer out of the two. Both are good, both are heavy, especially if you like the heavier side of sleaze or traditional metal. Certainly check those two out. But if you're more on the sleaze melodic sleaze type kind of feel, I would certainly check out some of these other songs here. So you got here kind of like I will say, you know, somewhat of a instrumental Over the Rainbow. It's okay. It's a minute and a half long, so take that for what you will. It doesn't get put on the iPod. I don't think it's really needed in the context of the album. It doesn't really bring anything. But the next track though, Call Me Devil, great riffage. And that's the other thing too. Like I'm gonna say this about a lot of the songs, so I'm just gonna say it here right now for the album. Great guitar work from Tracy all the way through. Great solos. It's not as crazy as say a Vinnie Vincent debut album or a Michelangelo from Nitro. It's not as crazy as that, but you are kind of like, okay, I gotta look here or listen here and see where Tracy's gonna be coming out from. Like his solos, just great riffage all the way around. I really, really impressed with that as far as the whole album goes with the guitar work. But certainly, Call Me Devil is one of those that I really enjoyed just for the guitar work itself. And same thing with Go Down. It's like I said, a lot of these are primal type lyrics as far as like sexualized and stuff like that. But it's not done in a childish way, as say like, or just not done it's done pretty smooth for all things considering. Uh Go Down's great though, great riff there too, great chorus, to sing along with. Same thing with Love at First Bite. Like Go Down and Love at First Bite, like there are parts in some of these songs where I'm like, okay, for fans of like ACDC or Rhino Bucket or whatever, like bands like that with those type of chords and riffs, I would say you would feel right at home and you'll be like, oh, fuck yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, you would enjoy those songs and most of this album, I would say. But like, it kind of keeps it simplified too. And it's not like your normal like Dio sounding or like traditional metal where there's a little bit more than just the riff. Like there's other stuff going on there too that Tracy's throwing at you. Really good. And then also too with Mandy, vocal wise, like he's good. Like there's certain growls and just noises that he makes that really like adds to the atmosphere of this album. And obviously, as you can see with the album cover, the artwork, I remember when I first seen it on Sleaze Rocks when I was reading the biography of this band. I was like, that's a badass like cover, album cover. Like you had this like lion or just kind of like wolf creature. And when I first seen it, I thought he was like in a cell or like in a cage. But it's actually just World War III written out like very big. So it kill two birds with one stone, maybe. I don't know. But either way, I thought that is just badass. Like one of the when I remember where I was when I first seen that artwork, and the past 15 years or so, like I would remember that artwork anywhere, and no matter how long it's been since I seen the artwork, I'll be like, oh, I know that album, you know. So, but at some point here, that you do get The Harder They Come here at track number 8, which is probably the first chink in the armor for this album. Uh, it's fine. I can listen to it. It probably will stay on the iPod, but it's certainly one of my least favorite on the album. And then you got Atomic Sex Appeal, track number 9. So like you got these like lyrics and titles and stuff that are just like straight to the point, but it works so well. It's so cool like how they do it, and it's not cheesy either. But like I like how in the course of this song and Atomic Sex Appeal, he's kind of like chanting along, and like you can kind of be like, oh yeah, haven't got a job, haven't got a money, but I got Atomic Sex Appeal, like it's just really cool and different at the time too. And that's the thing, like that's why I kind of like put it in the sleaze category, especially for 1990. Like it's different than your typical, not that they looked glammy or anything like that or hair metally, but you know they would probably get lumped into that, just like as you would with like Tesla and Great White and shit, like, and bands like that. Now granted they're not as hard, but uh as World War III, but bands just get lumped into that hair metal just because they were out of that time, long hair, and it wasn't thrash, it wasn't power metal. So, you know, that's why I think some people put them in this hair metal category. But to me, though, I mean, certainly I could see it in the sleaze category, more so than just the general glammy hair metal type stuff. So, moving on to You Drive Me Crazy, track number 10. This is probably the one track that is going to be left off the iPod. I can listen to it. Like when I'm listening to the album, I can listen to it, but it's not one. I got 8 other tracks here that I will be blaring at 11 volume wise. But this one here is like, okay, I'll take, 9 other tracks over this one, obviously. So then you finish off with The Cage, which is actually the first kind of song, mid tempo to slow song. Just really cool atmospheric, like bass comes in right away, like real slow, real somber. And then like, Mandy's just singing like Locked in the Cage, like really, really good stuff. A 5 minute long outro track, or a 5 minute long track to end the album and to send you off and be like, God damn, I need to listen to this again. Just really good stuff. Like I said, I can't talk enough about the guitar work. The production is really good. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It's clean, but it's not like overly polished or anything like that. Trying to think what the best way I could really describe this is, the lyrics are just primal, and the music is there. It's primal as well. It's rough, a little ruffling around the edges as far as like really cutting edge like solos and guitar work, and just Mandy's voice, the way he sings some of these songs, and just the way he growls throughout it. It's just absolutely awesome. And then one of the tracks I didn't talk about is I like it, but it's a cover of Children of the Revolution from T-Rex, the band T-Rex. I actually was not aware of the song before I had this album. So, but I like the song, but I don't know the original T-Rex because like I'm not the biggest like uh 70s rock guy. So T-Rex, I don't know anything really from T-Rex other than like the couple of songs that are hits for him, that made it through the decades, that are still popular. But like I never did any deep dives on T-Rex. So certainly, but I like the cover. It's fine. I think certainly World War III makes it their own. I would totally imagine that. Because there's nothing that these guys would like. They have their own sound. They have their own feel. And it's just one of those one and done bands, one and done albums. It's like, God, I would have loved to have a second album. But then again, that one might be what's great about this album and the aura that it has. That's one and done. Like no one knows about it hardly, and it's just hard to find. Just whatever you want, it adds to that mystique of it. And just that album cover, man. Just that album cover is absolutely awesome. Adds to that. I mean, it doesn't get much better than I'm going to give this as a rating, guys. I'm giving it a 4, at least a 4 out of 5. Some days might even be 4.5, to be completely honest with you. Like now, granted, I did pick this up within the last month, so it's probably just new to me, because like I did always know of the singles and such like that, but I never listened to the whole album. Even when I first read the biography, I only heard the singles. So like now when I'm listening to the whole album, it's fresh to me. So I don't want to like give it too much praise, because maybe in like 6 months I'll be like, maybe I was a little, excited, for a little more excited than I should have been for this album. But it has all the hallmarks that I like, that is a top 50 album for me. It has all the hallmarks of that. No true ballad, I would say, but I mean, that's fine. The closest thing that you would get would be Children of the Revolution, or maybe The Cage, which I not The Cage. I would say that probably Children of the Revolution would be the closest thing to a ballad on here, because The Cage is just like a slower mid-tempo, like doomy even feel in some parts. So no, not really no ballad type feel lyric wise. But my gosh, I don't know what songs I would honestly take. So like for the 3 that I want you to check out. So I'm just gonna say here, right in the middle, even I'm gonna say, try out Call Me Devil, Go Down, and Love at First Bite. And if you want like kind of like even like a more fun, probably the most fun song on this album, I would say probably be Atomic Sex Appeal, as far as like party feel wise. But I mean, I could play this album at a party, and it would go over pretty well. As far now, I wouldn't be open up and say, don't get me wrong on that. It's not like that at all, but it's a little more serious tone, darker tone. Just a really darker sleaze feel, I would say, is the best way I can describe it to you guys, especially guys that follow this channel, because we do love talking about the sleaze a lot, just hair metal in general. But certainly this album, man, I'm giving it, like I said, an easy 4 out of 5 right now. No questions asked. I've almost listened to it almost every day the past couple weeks to a month, and it's not getting worse. I'll say that it's only getting better, except for maybe Drive You Crazy. That's the only one I think that might be getting worse, but hell, even some parts in that I can dig and get into. So guys, that is going to be World War III. Let me know what you guys think about it, because I know not a lot of people know about this album, but you can find it on YouTube. But I don't know if you can find it on Spotify or where else you can find it. I'm not 100% sure, but you can find it on YouTube if you want to check it out. And let me know what you guys think of it.
Talk to me.
Because I'm quite interested in seeing what you guys think, because this is just a great unknown, overlooked album and band. Because it's just sad, because it's 1990. So many great bands and so many great albums were out at the time. Check out World War III. Great album, self-titled, from 1990. Don't get confused now with the 1985 album, World War III and Band. So definitely make sure it's the 1990 with the badass Wolfman on the front. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of World War III. And if you guys enjoyed this album review, check this one out right here.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.